Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2, with a Zerg player probably too creative for his own good. In the red, it's Rex, facing off against the little-known Korean Terran in the blue. We have Percival, in a best-of-3 Terran versus Zerg showdown, with a special side quest, a bonus attached. Since Jimmy noticed neither of these players have one of our fancy player cards, whichever player you vote for will get one at the end of the match. Now, it's not about winning or losing. I mean, it is, but it's about whichever player shows the best games for the fans. That's what we're all about here. And in that same spirit, it'd be awesome if you could smash that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, or more likely piggyback off someone else's and who you'd like to see. And Jimmy, what are we... No. It's called Artificial Scarcity. I know they're digital. 1,622 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far, and hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. What in the beyond... It's just 3 Rex. He's just going 3 Rex Marine. What year is this? Percival, one of the youngest Korean players. It's just 3 Rex Marine. Wow. Beyond, I don't know if he'd be proud. He might be upset at one of his counterparts stealing the simplest build in the history of the game. This was literally 2010 GSL, not 2025. Marines, still incredibly good. Incredibly dangerous. But just the fact that nothing has happened, literally, nothing has come out of the base. There has been no Marine Scout. There has been no Reaper. Absolutely no information besides the fact there's a command center here. But the severe lack of, not even Hellions. What could be in there? The Overlord just hanging out. And it's just Marines. He still doesn't see it. Third command center on the low ground. I have to imagine, right? Well, he has vision. Once the Marines are moving out, this is very intentional where he's placing those Marines for now. He's just going Marine. I can't believe. I mean, I can, but just a bunch of Marines with stimming combat shield. Rex is already up to 46 drones, and the Marines. Wow, he knows exactly the vision of that Overlord. And moving out for sure. There's no way he didn't see it. And then Overlord's going to confirm it in the main either way. 8 roaches in production. But these will be Marines with stim and combat shield. No medevacs. No upgrades. Okay. They're going in without any sort of backup here. And I seriously doubt they're going back after they go across. It's not really a do-or-die situation. He has 3 command centers. But eventually these Marines will die. It's just how many they can take with them. Alright. He spots the roaches. Okay, I may have spoken too soon. He just clears the creep. Very forward of him. Hits the stims, you coward. Wow, the creep tumors don't fight back, but the roaches and lings certainly thought about it. Gonna do a bit of ring around the rosy. No, my god. Stop it! Don't do drugs, kids. Or 20-somethings who are still aspiring to be... Okay. This man has stimmed before. It was a map-dependent build. I forgot. How did I forget about the heal? The one time I don't fill time by talking about the healing shrine. Well, now I'm the one looking like I'm in mental decline, because these Marines are perfectly fine. And, well, that stim, yet another sign. Rex actually gets a little supply block losing an Overlord. Not a huge deal whatsoever, but back to the shrine. Everybody pile in. Is there enough room for all of us? Yes, actually. Just got to get cozy. And a bunch more Marines. Wow. It's like having medevacs, except they're built into the map. This is the first time I've seen someone actually build around the healing shrine. Because also very important, the healing shrine as air blockers on this map, which means you can't use it for things like oracles or mutas. But Percival realizing he could just pretend to have a a ghetto medevac built in. So far, it hasn't resulted in much. Rex had plenty to deal with it. He's got some Zerglings ready on the counterattack. But Percival, he's going to get away with the amount of pressure he was able to put on without having to get medevacs. So he's going to have more units than he would have otherwise. And he's already done... well, okay. I like the way it feels. You want a piece of... Stop it! Why do you keep stimming? I swear, this is habit forming. He just... No. Okay, well, the medevacs, why waste their energy, right? This is... Wow, this is like a euthermal video now. In fact, it may have already been. Who knows what his inspiration is. But now going through the highway, between the stims, the healing shrine, and the medevacs, these Marines are flying high one way or another. Stutter stepping back at maximum speed off the creep. Baneling speed is about to close in, though. Unfortunately for Rex, it won't be at the most fortuitous timing. And, yep, back to the shrine, boys. Pile in. The medevacs shouldn't even be wasting their energy. This is... Alright, don't try this at home. I don't know about stims or actually playing StarCraft. Both are probably anxiety-inducing. Unclear which is which, but compounding issue. Well, he's on the creep, hits the stims yet again for like the 74th time this game. Wow, there are destructible rocks there. Percival the Cartographer. I've already got some ideas for titles here. I've never seen anyone take down those rocks. This may be the only, at least pro-adjacent player who actually played the map and learned what it was before deciding to play top-tier games. Unfortunately, that won't save your Marines from the Banelings. The medevacs do what they can, but Rex just rolls through the army. And now some siege tanks on the back line. This is a mineral wall location. He can use that to potentially leapfrog up to the high ground, but Rex, anticipating an attack from this angle, expanded across the top. So not nearly as vulnerable as he could be. Though the awkward part of this map is expanding past 4 bases, because now you have to go towards the Terran. And most people... the Spore Guardians. Meanwhile, Zerglings. Just sightseeing tour. Oh, right-click on the tank. Rip it apart. There's an Ultraless Cavern on the way. Wow, only 9 minutes. I guess it's not particularly quick, but it's certainly not slow. Huh. I'm still just impressed. We finally found a pro player who recognizes that there are actually features on the map that aren't just there for casters to fill time. Ghost Academy's on the way. 2-2's about done for Percival. A little bit further out for Rex, but not too far. Going to be losing the 5th base down the center. The Zerglings getting a couple SCVs right before the Planetary Fortress finishes. Queens, no! Taking the wrong path. 3-4 Queens gunned down. There's only one Brendan, no! Take me too! Only 1 Queen remains, which is certainly not going to help the production or creep spread. Blinding Cloud on the high ground. He's got another one. And trying to decide how to use it. Might not end up using it at all. The Viper somehow survives. Many of the Marines will for now. Adrenal Gland's on the way. Rex clears the field, but it was a costly endeavor. Yeah. No, don't do it. Oh my god, he's just going to sit in the shrine. Corrosive Bow does one-shot Marines. Are we doing this? I was hoping we'd just get the full brawl where everybody... At what point can they just survive and no longer ever be... The Corrosive Bile does enough damage to one-shot Marines. That's the relevant part here. But at the same time, the Marines only do so much damage themselves. There's 4 Ultras who could certainly benefit, especially since the Monarchy has been cut down mercilessly through totally not Rex's fault, but instead circumstances far beyond his control. assuming his queens were beyond his control. I don't know why they were out there, but 4 ultras on the way. 173 to 167 supply in favor of Percival. The Viper lived. Full energy now, but it has a death wish, it seems. Zergling, parasitic bomb, Viper, ambles forward, siege tank setting up. Ghosts already on the field. He's got the Nova Ghosts. Finally, a match where we didn't get locked into the default skins. I appreciate how he has no other skins on his army, but he has the Nova Ghosts. Or like the special operatives. Alright. Wow, Percival, a real Terran. Lines up some snipes, unfortunately. Not quite good enough to take down this magnitude of Ultralisk. He just carves right through the ghosts. A couple of them saved, but they'll expect one of us in the wreckage. The medevacs, more medevacs than units they're able to save. Zerglings and roaches coming from the back. Almost no anti-air besides corrosive bile. Oh my, this is a bit of a mess. Shoots his own Ravagers, but eventually gets rid of the Liberators. Another Ultralisk goes down. But more leading the charge. Another tank stimming all the way back home. Percival forced to pull the boys. Not exactly an ideal move against Ultras, but he's down to 1. Singular Ultra makes it a bit more manageable. Chitinous plating wasn't done. They were still Paperlisks. And he's able to gun them down just barely in time before they get on top of the production. Percival will hold for now. But we have to ask ourselves that eternal question. Have you liked and subscribed? And at what cost? Rex, now at 184 supply, just now getting his 5th base online, lines up some snipes, hits the Ravagers, interrupted over to the left flank, picks up again into the medevacs, 1 siege tank on the back. This little alleyway next to the factory is the only thing between him and getting ripped to shreds, I say, from the Ultralisk. More corrosive biles, misses the mark on the siege tanks, and Rex ends up losing a devastating amount of his army as we seesaw back across the map. 76 to 73 workers. Percival's taking his 5th base now, but he hasn't taken the bottom right corner yet. Looking to fix that as well. Already has another command center on the field. Neither player even close to maxed out, and with no money in the bank. These exchanges have been absolutely brutal, and we're just getting started. Ultras chewing through, gets another queen. The queens have really been suffering throughout this game, more than usual. Lings go in, lings go out. You can't explain that. Well, the Banelings, and pulls the Banelings back before using them on the much less malleable Marauder. What a dramatic exchange so far, and more Ultras cleaving through. A Viper with full energy, trying to figure out what it wants to do. Leaning over the top. More Liberators coming out, 3rd base cleared up, but Rex, once again strung out. Leaves behind a parasitic bomb, but the sheer amount of Marauders, as well as any amount of Ghosts and Liberators, makes this near pure Ultralisk composition a lot less likely to get the damage done. Both players at 3-3, +1 mech weapons going on +2 for Percival. Meanwhile, the Liberators overhead need to target fire the Ultralisk. Siege tanks need to target fire whatever gets close. Meanwhile, 2 Infestors in production. A drone! Where are you going? Was he going to expand to that bottom left side where there's a planetary on the way that he can see with his Zergling? Very ambitious. Snipes off one of the hatcheries, spots the base in the bottom right, and Rex. We've seen this scenario before. Zerg players who fight again and again and then find they have nothing left to fight with. For now, he's able to carve up a planetary for absolutely free. Okay, a few Zerglings, but you're priceless. Rex has lost 450 Zerglings, 8 Ultras, and he has more to lose. A very key part here, 90 workers apiece. Booming economies for either side. Able to build and then subsequently lose so many units. He could just see that Infestor. But did he see it? Technically, the units did. Well, he definitely sees that one because it's sitting out there like it's a campaign mission. The other Infestor somehow, despite being in vision, managed to evade getting sniped off. And that could be devastating. He pops it up. He lays down the fungal. The ghost sliced apart by the Ultras. Parasitic bomb. Wombo combo. Quarantines the medevacs. There's a Viking on the ground because why not? We're getting cinematic with it. That siege tank around the corner going to be torn down. The planetary is next on the agenda. And the supply lead has flipped all the way back towards Rex. There's a burrowed Ultralisk. There's very unburrowed queens. Oh my. I don't... Gonna be very surprised with that Ultra unburrows. 17 SCVs dead. And now Rex with a... Quite an income. Wow, the swings here. That's over 1,500 resources a minute. He's able to take out another base, but not for now. That one Viper has survived this entire time. I don't think it's been transfused once. There's... How many queens have died? 8 queens, only 2 remain. They're just chilling in the center of the map, typical. Ultra's coming through the center, and Ultra's trying to cleave the planetary. He even has building armor, but the Ultras hit a bit harder than that. Well, unless he leads into the Liberator, the SCVs! Oh, well, this is a bit disastrous. He saves the planetary. The Ultras with their big toe inside the Liberation Zone, and suddenly thinned out to the point that he's getting outflanked by the Terran army. We seesaw back again. Oh my, 50,000 resources lost in like 18 minutes. Percival has lost these bases. Very importantly, Rex has been able to establish his forward bases. That next tier towards the Terran. He was able to keep Percival off his back for long enough to actually get this income. But if he ever loses that momentum, he could easily lose these bases, as it's just a quick stim away, as Percival is incredibly well aware. Almost everyone makes it into the medevacs as he dives into the main. There's a Sperimeter, but another queen will likely be taken down, as the Marines are offering themselves to the Ultralisk gods. Spire is on the way. Yep, that's a Zergling. Burrowed Zergling on the base. 2 Marines in those medevacs, dragging 70 supply of Zerg. Can never be too careful. Might be Big Gabe in there. An exhausting game so far. And, well, Percival's maxed out with 9 Ghosts and 6 Liberators against Ultras and Lings. So I hesitate to... What happened to the Marines? Where did the Marines go? He dropped them out at some point. The one Viper to rule them all. And in the air, kind of puke like a bomb of parasites on them. Oh, it's super down. The Ghosts line up their shots, but here come the Ultras. Liberators trying to thin things out, but doing a very poor job. Ghost lining up another volley. The Baneling's able to interrupt a few of them, cancels the rest. Do the Ghosts have cloak? They do not, and they're very much regretting it. Retreats back to the Liberation Zone. Ghost dying as dramatically as possible. The Ultra count is still too damn high. Percival evacuates 4 of the Ghosts. Could probably line up a few more shots. Most of the Ultras are badly bruised. But unfortunately, that means they're still able to chew up the reinforcements. And Rex can replenish most of this army, or he could if he had any queens. He's building 5 more. Getting sidetracked by some supply depots. And again, Rex knocking on the door, and again, Percival will answer. But at this point, it may have been too costly. Ghost line up a few more shots. The Corruptor's finally wiping some of the Liberators out of the sky. Ghost making it a very difficult exchange. The Mules will drop, but they don't make mineral patches out of thin air. They just drain them incredibly quickly. Rex with another very optimistic expansion. Oh, he's also taking the gold. All right. A bunch of burrowed Zerglings and a summoning circle around the supply depot on the high ground. 22 Ultralisk dead. And 2 alive. Percival still actually has an army supply lead, which is he's still in a very playable position. What? Another? There are destructible rocks here? I mean rock towers. I didn't even know that. But cartographer Percival. Once again finding it. The Zerglings sprinting up because the creep now extending up to the high ground. The ghosts on the back line. Banelings rolling through. Mostly Marines and Marauders for now. 11 SCVs dead. Bringing them down to 42. The answer to many questions, but this one seems a little bit more difficult. Rex still at 83 drones. His base is untouched for the better part of 10 minutes. The map is his. And Percival still banking on that. One of those disgustingly cost-effective fights where the Zerg player just assumes they've won and is very rudely awakened. 118 lings. Not a single spellcaster. No infestors, no vipers. So, the more conventional Zerg units with enough banelings, you can roll through anything, but... Oh, they date. No high ground vision. That's a rough one. The Zerglings still burrowed on the supply depot, stressing me out. Eventually he will either remember or use them, I assume. Their ghost just chilling in the main. Percival reinforcing his main, assuming it's going to be under attack at some point. Army to the left flank, trying to take that base down the center. Rex taking serious issue with it. Banelings rolling down, Ultralisk chewing through, and the ghosts ripped apart by the Adrenalings. A full surround. And where are the reinforcements? Well, found him. Unburrows the Zerglings, counterattacking Bioforce in the top left corner. And, well, are there still any Ultras? Yes! Chewing their way through the front. And Percival, stretched too thinly here. We'll lose the orbital command, going to lose more ghosts. Probably could have invested in Ghost Cloak. Oof. God. How many ghosts? 26 ghosts, 32 siege tanks, and absolutely devastating. Over 100,000 resources. Oh my. And the army supplies are still close enough. Thing is, Percival's income. Well, Rex's income as well. I guess he's mined out of 4 bases. And 5 and 6 are looking pretty dry right now. But the gold base, luscious. Snipes another Ultra. Siege tanks helping out so much. Needs to light up the shots. If he can snipe off this last Ultra, maybe. It's not going to be enough. Gets overrun. And a critical mass of synchronized ghost death will inspire 2Gs. In one of the most brutal back and forth. 998 Zerglings dead. 24 Ultras. 33 tanks. 30 ghosts. But this time around, 1 Terran player. I absolutely love, though I question the stim a bunch of times because you can heal. That doesn't seem like a good habit to get into. It's like, well, I can heal it. That doesn't mean you should just stim because you can. Very Terran mindset, though, but Rex holds on, unable to really take any initiative because Percival's too busy stimming his way around the map. But keeps it together despite a severe lack of queens for quite a while. And the Ultras. Some players will just kind of give up on them. They'll try to switch it up. But Rex had committed. And he kept committing. Eventually it got the job done. And that's the problem when you're a Terran player who's not Clem. So, like, all of them, besides Clem, is ghosts are not the easiest thing to micro alongside the rest of your army. Many times it can look like ghosts wipe out everything Zerg has, from their energy, to their Ultralists, to their dreams. And that's because they do, but you can't just leave them on their own. Alright, they need support. And those Marines and Marauders stimming off is certainly not the ideal opener. But here we go into game 2 on Tokamak. I'm sure I'm saying that right. All right. Source. It sounded right. It's going to be 2 Rex. I want to say Reaper. But I'm not willing to commit based on what we've seen so far. Reaper first. Quite a large map. There's a gold. Well, there's a mixed base that you can actually wall up. I'm pretty sure the rocks actually drop and destroy the blue minerals, but I'm not 100% on that one. There's like a little set of arrows there, so we'll see. Well, let's just let Percival cook, all right? If there is a map feature or some sort of strategy, I'm assuming the cartographer will know it. This map has some Reaper cliffs right down the center. I do love the outlines here. I think that's a kind of a more subtle but important part of map making, is having different levels of terrain be clear. Like, where you don't have to look at the minimap in order to know where you are. In order to know if there's a high ground, low ground. And it doesn't need to be blatant. Okay, but these little outlines here, whenever you go down to the low level or up to the high one, also kind of subtle. They go straight to the gold minerals. When you think about it. No, I think it's mostly just a low ground thing. But I really like it. These new community maps for the first time in StarCraft 2 history, having maps that are were being used in tournaments before they were put on the ladder, which, you know, isn't necessarily a great thing, but, you know, I think tournaments taking the initiative is the best way to go. And Brenda, you're flying again! Susan, you know that's not what that is. You know how hurtful that is. And yet you say it anyways. Are you going to apologize? Sorry, oh my. He took out the creep tumor with the grenades and bouncing the queens around. So far, just the Reapers to start. Going for the tumor at the back. Almost gets one of the Reapers, but shutting down the first creep tumor? What are you doing, Rex? That's a lair. Shutting down the first creep tumor makes it that much harder. Rex has not gone. He has not gone for Zergling speed. He does not have a third base. Percival also. No third base. So this is not your cookie cutter Terran versus Zerg. Both players are teching up and building up. Anticipating. Is it just a Nidus? Roach speed. Not a Nidus. Too blatant. Oh, but the Reapers coming in. Bouncing around. Get a drone for their troubles. Going to spot the Roach one and having the little seizure that it has. Indicating that it is upgraded. So Rex immediately making more drones. That bunker, I think, will stay intact and not going to be salvaged for sure. Is that a Team Liquid logo on the bunker? Or is that... No, wait. He's from the little... Is he from the little ferry? Ah, it might be a... No, that... I don't think that's a ferry. Pretty sure that's Team Liquid. That's an in-game decal. Like, you can't just upload those. Think of the implications. We can upload clan logos, which has always been a little weird. So, thankfully not abused too much. 3 drones dead, as 2 Hellions casually run by. The queens, 4 drones. Meanwhile, the roaches will get a reactor. Also, there's a medevac heading across it. This is getting weird. He's just going to chew through the tech lab, or melt through it. It might be full of acid, but this strategy definitely based. Queen gun down. Real rough series for him. 5? 5? Okay. And Percival will scout it. So usually the strategy against someone who's teching up like a bamboo shoot over here, is to take all your units and go fucking kill them. Thing is, Rex already has a decent amount of roaches, and Combat Shield just got denied. Combat Shield is a big part of allowing Marines to actually... Hey! You guys take it! I don't know if he didn't notice the changelings, if he didn't care, or if he wanted them to watch. But yeah, without Combat Shield, it gets a lot more difficult. Don't just rush Ultras. Do not rush Ultras. What else would he do, though? There's no other tech. Like Vipers? Obviously, but... Hey, what's the point of a hive? Yeah, literally just Vipers. A Viper rush. Gonna have the hive done at like 640. And we saw last game, his Vipers have this sort of uncanny ability to survive these engagements. It's unclear how. Just wandering past the Marines like they got plot armor or something. He only made one Viper, I believe, the entire game, and it was in the game for like 80% of it. Combat Shield finally completed. That window that Percival maybe could have found some damage. Except it's literally just... He's not even getting Adrenal Gland. This feels more like I'm keeping you guessing, because you never know what I'm going to do with the hive. Like, lose my first Viper. And then another pair... He loses 2 Vipers. And Parasitic Bomb does not stack. Wow, it doesn't really need to. Oh my god, there's no queen down here. No! Hey, don't brush against any of those leaves. And once again, Percival, make sure there are no witnesses to his questionable drop antics by dropping out every single Marine and sending... Oh my god, nobody else got out. It was horrible. We got so much done. Alright, I deserve a promotion. Okay, and so would... all of my brothers and sisters that fought and died. And totally weren't just sent directly in and dropped out at an inopportune time. Ultraless Cavern now on the way. Rex again reaching for the Ultras, and I mean, there's really nothing on the shelf right now. You can't just go Lurkers, you need a Hydra Den. You can't just go Greater Spire, you need a not-so-great Spire. Did another Viper die? Yep. Third Viper. Another Parabomb. I mean, the Parabombs have been good, but Vipers cost more than a Medevac on their own, so... And a Parasitic Bomb doesn't even do enough damage to kill a Medevac. Alright. Does 120. Over, like, 7 seconds. Medevacs have 150 HP. So... But if you stack another one after a few seconds, technically it can, it's a very awkward setup, but it does help. Kindness Plenty on the way. As the Vipers... Ooh. No, they can't consume you. Ugh. Overlords are... Don't know what the Overlords are saying, but... Why can't they consume units? Defilers could. Well, they're not Defilers. Something went wrong after the war. Well, Percival. Something going right for him. He's up 20. Well, we'll see here. He's up 20 supply. The Vipers. Full energy again. Rex very diligent. Somebody took down the rocks. I'm going to say it was Percival. Just based on what he's done so far. And it does destroy the mineral patches. Wow. Destructible mineral patches. I don't think if you take down the rocks, you unearth them. I think they're gone for good. Now that would be uninteresting too, like literally mining through the rocks to get to the minerals. Marie. SCV on a smoke break. Meanwhile, Marines hunting Ravagers. Down the center of the map, the creep is kind of all over the place. And by that I mean... No, I don't mean that. All right, that was... I don't know why I said that. The creep is barely out there at all. All over if you zoom in just to Rex's side of the map and get rid of the minimap. Wow, it's all over. That's crazy. No Scarlet here. Percival. 3-2 upgrades on the way. 3 Ultras in production. Chitinous Plating has done Ultra Speed. Another hectic exchange. Mass Widowmine has been mixed in. This base on the right side would be easily taken down. Already softened up earlier. Some roaches in the bottom right corner, but Percival's maxed out. How many ghosts? 5 on the field. Most of them with the army. Maybe we'll get Ghost Cloak this game? No? We'll see. Not sure. Was that an SCV? It sounded like an SCV died there. Some Widow Mines. Yes! They have a distinct sound. All right. I love it. Roaches sent to die. Will succeed. Still painful. Fusion Core on the way for Percival. And we see that he's clearly prepared for this late game scenario. He's definitely off to a stronger jump when it comes to the 200 supply stage of the game. But it is becoming a similar state where Rex has reestablished his account. Well, he's trying to get a 5th base. And that, past the 4th base, is the biggest struggle for Zerg. It shouldn't be that difficult on this map. And the fact that Percival is continually slamming these bases successfully shows how much initiative he has and how well he's doing in this game. So those tanks are all stacked up. This is a precarious position. The Changelings will spot all of it, that the creep doesn't. More queens will die. But Percival just jams himself in here. He's got 3-2 against +1 melee and +3 carapace. But Rex is going to try to snap this army up from either side. Corrosive Valve knocks down one of the Liberators. Blinding Cloud in the back line. Ghosts lining up their shots even through the cloud. All right, using their psi senses or whatever. Because Snipe is technically a spellcast. Oh my. Ah, gonna get canceled just like the game named after. Oh, what a save! The Ghosts dragged back in a wall of command centers will be dropped behind. The command centers themselves being taken down with the snipes. Exploderating one of the Ultras. Oh my god. Rex comes in like the tide and recedes just as quickly. The Ultra's not enough to break it. 16 SCVs dead. Percival plummets to dead even. Building armor on the way. He did finish a fusion core. Now starting advanced ballistics. Probably a good choice. Caduceus reactor, also acceptable. Yamato cannon, exciting, but also confusing. Stretch goals. Nidus on the way. More Ultras. Infestors being mixed in for Rex. The Ghosts. He stumbled into this one. And now he's stumbling with all these units into the units lost tab. Sure, some of the SCVs went down, a couple Ghosts. But the Vipers, wow. 5 Vipers taking down this game. Another hatchery. And Rex, his supply flatlines and then jumps off a cliff. Oh no, it's a disaster. He's at 112, and he can't afford to rebuild pretty much anything more. Why are you dropping them out? They weren't going to die. No witnesses. It's crazy how this keeps happening. Seems like Ghosts on their own taking down a hatchery. Very nice macro. The creep spread kind of stretching out like a tendril here. But Rex is in quite a dire position. Infestors and Ultralists can do a lot to even the score. But I think right now Percival is more likely to be even at the end of this game. 200 to 130 supply. Rex down to 1 queen again. The Ultra's coming in. Sensor Tower will spot the main army. How many? He has 8 orbital commands. Has he not gotten Ghost Cloak? That feels like a matter of principle at this point. He's built nearly, like, over 50 ghosts in this series. No Ghost Cloak at all. Alright, the best cloak is confidence. No. The best cloak is cloak. Like and subscribe for more wisdom. Hashtag deep thoughts with the deep. Caduceus Reactor. Percival, the only risk here is in letting Rex take one of those finds. But if Percival doesn't present one of the... If he doesn't present a target, if he doesn't put his army all in one place, there's no real obligation. He can use 2/3 of his army and still have a good fight against everything Rex does. And that's exactly what he's doing, recognizing his position. The Ultras. EMPs, 1 parabomb. That's a lot of ghosts back there. Once again, I'm without any cloak, lines up the shots, and fires off an entire volley. Oh no! The firing squad takes it all down, and Percival strikes back. The Equalizer. Another brutal exchange, but this time around Rex still he tried to retake the initiative with the 7-minute hive, the Viper Rush. But unfortunately, in theory, a Viper Rush, not very good. In practice, it's even worse. Feels very much like I asked myself whether or not I could, rather than whether or not I should situation. Which is what I ask myself sometimes after I say many of these sentences. But then, I power through it, and I move on, because the best cloak is confidence, as a great man once said. Game 3, ley lines, will be the decider. Rex in the top right, Percival in the bottom left, and I think the jury's still out. So far, I came into this expecting Rex would be the recipient of our fancy new card here. But Percival is not the generic Terran that I thought. I don't know. I've seen so little. Both these players are still ranked near the top. Percival's been in GSL. Rex has taken series off. I don't know about Cyril, but I think at least Clem. Very rarely, but players who threaten to cause an upset against the very best, but still usually get lumped in with the rest. And I didn't really know anything about Percival coming into this. Honestly, I was recommended this series because of Rex. But here we are. So, and Rex with his very... I do appreciate his commitment. He has this sort of crowbar Zerg style that many Zergs are leaning on nowadays, but a greater commitment to it. Now, is that commitment out of obligation or out of motivation? AKA, is it because he couldn't come up with anything else to do before he would just straight up die? Or is it because he came into it like that was his plan all along? You know what? Whichever sounds smarter, I think. Probably a bit of both. I will point out that Rex scouted for Proxy Rex with a drone, which is not something you see very often. I do wonder if that's personal experience with Percival, an abundance of caution, or a indication of cowardice. Again, whichever sounds best. Well, Reaper headed across. Nailed it. Reaper. Bouncing queens around yet again. Third command center this time. We're on ley lines. I can't help but feel already that this is a map, this is one of the two maps, this and Ultra Love, that carried over from the last map pool. And we're seeing very standard start, like cookie cutter start here. Whereas on both Tokamak and Persephone, two of our new maps, creativity abounds. I do wonder, because are the new maps going to be different enough? Are they going to be have enough new features or new dynamics to continue to inspire more creative builds? Or will the same kind of shoehorned build order and style continue to work like it has on 90% of maps for years? I hope it's the first one, but I fear it's the second. TBD. Percival sneaking around. It's going to be Cloak Banshee alongside those Hellions. Destiny Cloud Fist opener. Barracks Factory Starport. I'll see if he has a creative transition or if we're just going to slap down a couple more racks behind. Zergling sneaking in. We'll actually kill off a Marine. And the Queens will drive away everything at the front. A very normally timed lair on the way. I was about to say quick, and then I looked at the time. Safe against Cloaked Banshees. Actually, his Spore Crawlers are a little on the later side. May end up losing a couple drones. Double engineering bay, double racks. You got your very standardized Terran follow-up. Make sure you have enough production. 3, then 5 racks is about as many as you can support while still teching up. As Terran on 3 bases. And that's where we're going. Now, some sort of strains of this build end up with the Octo racks. 3 more racks slapped down. Usually not even with add-ons, just to get that next level of production and hit such a sharp timing. And your more macro-oriented usually involves getting second factory, 4th command center, what have you, as you start to saturate those bases. But some of that comes down to what the Zerg's interested in doing as well. Rex got a lair. Unfortunately, the drones are transferring back at an incredibly inopportune time. And the Cloaked Banshees, you might be able to see them, but that doesn't necessarily mean he can stop them. Oh my. Well, flying into the Spore almost kills the Queen, but that extra little bit of regen, 1 HP, 0 fucks. But 16 drones incinerated! Rex getting charbroiled right now. 19 drones! Oh my, it's a disaster. And Rex plummets to an 11-worker lead. What? Wow, he had so many drones. The downside of this, of course, is all the larvae and minerals you have to replace those drones with. And the fact that Percival is lining up for a perfectly solid 1-1 combat shield and stim timing. 2 medevacs are popping out. Like, this is just textbook right here. Showing he can follow along or chart a new course. And without any upgrades and with Baneling speed still like a minute out, this might not be a deadly push, but it has potential. The 4th base at the very least is vulnerable. And this doesn't need to be deadly. He doesn't want to necessarily end the game here. He's got a second factory, a fourth command center. This is just to get whatever damage he can, take a good trade, and... Wow, he is a bit... Certainly making it more sporting. Loses the tank and a concerning number of Marines. Alright, the reinforcements have arrived, parading across the map. The Queens gunned down at the front. Percival just tearing through the banelings. Targets down the one. Nails it. And look at the supply. Gets the hatchery. The upgrade. Just pick up, bro. No. Oh my. He's gonna do it. He's microing. Those Marines, they started this series with mass stim, and by God, they'll end it the same way. Autumn colors on the Marines, but the reinforcements are headed across. Dancing back. He's trying to target, and... Passing grade. Rex really struggling now. The Lings and Banes rolling through. And the Marines in the main again. Don't keep... My God, they can't even stim anymore. The medevacs have no energy left. Apparently they can stim. And it's enough. Wow. Are these Marines going to be the... There's a hive on the way, because of course there is. Widowmine's burrowing down. More Marines and Marauders, and he's just grinding through them. More Marines. There's 41 Marines to 57 Zerglings. Rex is... Feels like this entire series he struggled to regain the initiative. Game 1. Once he finally did so, he carried it. What am I watching? We die together, ladies. I'd rather not. Well, bad news. A full medevac of Marines goes down to a Spore Crawler, but more than a full medevac of Marines is heading towards the 4th base as Rex's death animation continues. Banelings rolling in. Marauders still stimming forward. 2-2 is done against just 1-1. My God. And Rex putting up a great fight, but unfortunately suffering critical damage early, unable to recover, and Percival turns it around and takes the series 2-1. Wow. Going in, I just kind of assumed like Percival was here to be the foil to Rex's Zerg. I'll be honest, that's what I expected, but I came away a little more impressed than I thought. Rex, clearly inspired, has some interesting takes on Zerg, but Percival managed to show some personality of his own, and also that solid, stable, textbook, cookie-cutter Terran that we see every other series by the end. So, who do you think deserves it? Rex for his creative Zerg plays, or Percival for charting at least a slightly new course, and maybe as a compensation for his stim addiction? Leave it in the comments. Thank you for watching. Hope it made your day a little bit better. And if you got the means and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free, at least for now. Thank you to our Mule Tier patrons for bringing in the extra minerals. Big Jiggy, Devin Door, Mario, Random Guy in Suit, and everyone glad you still enjoy. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.